Hey, Unpaid Lunch listeners, you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and ad-free as a Prime member on Amazon Music. Find us on social medias and YouTube at Unpaid Lunch. On your break today, me and Rhino are in studio talking about the best 3-day weekend, having off Friday or having off Monday, and we get into what's better, being an introvert or an extrovert at work. All right, time to clock out for lunch. Welcome into Unpaid Lunch, and thanks for spending your break with us. I'm Heavy D. With me, as always, is Rhino. Andy P's out again today, it seems.
The god of all sick days.
You know what's funny is he just works too fucking much.
I know.
That's what.
It's kind of really undermining our whole entire purpose here.
Yeah, it seems like you gotta get on brand, Andy P.
I mean,
it's okay. He'll quit eventually.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Maybe he's quitting us.
Oh,
Maybe
shit.
he has just went next level and quit this job.
He's going to start his own podcast.
Yeah.
The Michael Scott podcast.
Paid lunch.
It's a paid lunch.
Oh.
Shit.
Or
You got me kind of worried about it now.
15-minute break.
You got me kind of worried. They might fucking do that. Is it still the intro?
Yeah, I reckon.
Sometimes I get lost in it.
I don't know. I've had a little bit too much Jim Beam apple. It's hard to tell at this point.
That's good that you're telling everybody.
Ad placement.
Drinking Jim Beam. Shout out Jim Beam Apple. It's a good sponsor.
I mean,
no, if it has anything to do, if our podcast about work is sponsored by liquor, and it's like, what do you need in your coffee?
On, people. I've seen plenty of people show up my job with a 32-ounce freaking double quick cup. Now I know what's fucking in there.
You know how many people drink? It's like, all you motherfuckers drink Dr. Pepper. All you motherfuckers drink fountain drink Dr. Peppers. No, you don't.
No.
I had to get through the day. Whatever lets you get through the day. It's fine.
I had a guy on my team at a different job I had prior to the one I'm at. No, don't come at me and fire me. I'm not talking about where I'm working at now. But I had a guy come in all the time with a bottle of ginger ale that did not look like ginger ale.
we straight up had a guy that I worked with that he just straight got in trouble for drinking. He just drank all the fucking time. And he was not even like hidden about it. He smelled like liquor. He went to his car and drank on break. I mean, other people go,
whatever you got to do to cope and get through the day.
Yeah. I mean, everybody else is on some sort of pill form of medication that's working. Maybe not all the...
I'm on a lot of medication right now.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
You got to, but you're feeling better. Seen that you getting around.
I'm not on any medication for my leg right now. What's really weird is I've hurt all day long. Maybe it's just the bourbon.
I feel better. No, you're walking better.
Maybe I just need to start drinking more. Nah.
I think if you ask my father, that would be his solution.
I don't really want Ozzy Osbourne's opinion.
Just drink a case of beer. It just sounds like Ozzy Osbourne.
I mean,
arguing at the gas station with other old men who don't know what's going on.
Yeah, he sounds like him a lot, quite frequently.
I got I have some work related news.
Hit me with it.
I have an interview this week at work for a position change, like for a different department.
But you're not quitting.
Fuck you.
So you're actually rising up the corporate ladder.
No,
that's what I heard.
It's a whole different department. It's literally just like it's IT.
And I get blamed for being the corporate kiss ass all the time.
Oh, what you don't know is that I already boxed up all my stuff. So if I don't get this job, I'm going to quit.
Part of it's already in your car.
It's half of it. I'm halfway out the door, man.
I mean, I don't blame you.
I really did get tired of looking at my shit at work. Is that a weird thing to do? Like, so I do this thing at work to where, so it's from the PTSD I have from working at the call center is we moved desks so much that I just didn't put shit on my desk because I was sick of moving shit when I had to move.
How do you move desks so much?
We move desks all the time.
Why?
Man. I don't. You're the only
change
department that didn't move.
Or
I'm talking about not at where I'm at now.
One.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I never moved.
Yeah, you all just get to sit there all the time.
I never moved. Well, until now. Now they put me in a chokey.
Oh, you fucking...
Like, none of my people's returned back to site yet, so they're like, we need roles for coaches and agents. They're like, all right, where do we freed up? And they look at me, and I have a completely pristine, wide-open row, and it's just me. So I'm like, all right, I know I'm the cap casualty here. Like, what do you want me to do? They're like, well, over there's the high rise tables. I'm like, they don't have a back on the chair, and I have nerve freaking issues.
Oh,
right now,
you sitting at one of those?
Oh, fuck no. I was like, I ain't doing that. I'll go wherever you want me
They
to go.
put you over where quality.
I ain't going there. Nope. So in the back corner of the main production floor, those little offices that were always catch-alls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to clean one of them out. Now I'm in one of those side offices.
Fuck, that's fine. This bitch
I
is just got
hate
an
it.
office.
I hate it. I don't like being away from everybody because the day just drags.
Yeah, that's true.
But also at the same time, right outside my door, they placed this little older gentleman who screams at the top of his lungs. Like screams,
my kind of dude.
Screams the whole entire phone interaction. So I've started shutting my door. And that door's just
You
automatically
tell him,
locked.
give him
kinda.
feedback when you walk by him.
No. I mean, he sounds great on the phone. He's just loud. He just screams the whole time.
I don't know what that's like.
So shout out Krita. My boss will literally come by. She's like, why is your door shut again? I'm like, listen.
I can't hear anything. If it's open.
Listen. Plus, one day I was in my office eating like a large pizza by myself, and I just felt like I had 3 different people make eye contact with me. Like, God, look at this fat ass. And I'm like,
Dude's got a whole pizza.
she's like, people would have looked at you the same way out on the road.
Tell people it's a
But
medium.
now I don't have people behind me, and at least before I could say, oh, they're looking at somebody behind me. Nope. Now I know they're staring at me inside this office.
It seems like a complex.
It is. But you know what's awesome? I can take my shoes off in there.
Oh,
Pretty
yeah.
phenomenal. I was just going there and take my shoes off.
That's why you get the door closed. It
So I got the
stinks.
door. It probably.
Well,
I don't even care.
that's fine. I cleaned off my desk because I was sick of looking at my stuff. And I put one thing on it and I'd be like, I don't want to look at that anymore. And it's like, so I eventually just took everything off my desk and put it under there. And everybody was like, are you quitting? Oh my God, Dusty's quitting. I was like, no, I just don't look at I don't want to look at my shit anymore.
I get that. My boss's boss walked in my office the other day and he just kept looking at my board. Like I have like one of those big whiteboards. He kept looking at it, like trying to decipher what's on it. So this is also back to Lucretia again. Me and her was talking about one day. She's like, let's make a podcast about vampires. I was like, we could totally do that. She's like, there's just not enough source material for that.
It's like fucking
20 minutes later, there is a gigantic fucking whiteboard of everything that we could create for a vampire podcast.
I think there's vampire podcasts. Like I think there's like a big following.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of vampire podcasts.
I'm literally like I told her I went to YouTube and just
You're
pulled
such a low key horror fan. Like
Dude, I love
nothing about you says that you love horror, except for because I've known you so long. I knew you in a life where you were so into film that you just wanted to be a director.
Oh yeah,
Like that's what I knew about.
it's my dream job.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to do dream jobs. I think we're going to do dream jobs again next week. We did early on in the podcast, we did dream jobs, and I'm not sure we got much into it because Slick Nick was the guest.
And we just ended up talking about Disney.
Yeah, and we just talked about Disney. So
And weird retreats to Montana. Wyoming or wherever it was.
we'll get him on again and just talk about bullshit. 'Cause that's my favorite thing.
But yeah, like I used to be a massive film snob, but not so snobby to the point that me and Jody were able to get along. Jody, I love you, but Citizen Kane still sucks. Okay, like he still like
You're an elite film fan, but you're not an elite film fan like the Webb brothers.
No, listen, me and Danny kind of vibe a little bit more. I love Jody.
Jody does love
dearly.
Citizen Kane.
The man's all about some Citizen Kane, and
loves
he's
Citizen
like
Kane.
for like 10 years now, he's been judging me harshly on how bad I hate Citizen Kane.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I watched Citizen Kane recently for the first time because like I was just like, it doesn't seem like a movie that I'm going to be.
Did you love it?
Man, it's so fucking long.
I fell asleep.
I don't know what's like. I understand the movie. I know it's like they say if you didn't love it, then you don't understand it. But like, I get it. Like I get it. But like, Jesus, man, they're in the hall in that house forever, dude. They're in there forever.
Well, but the experience that I had with it was just bad to begin with because it was in film class. Someone tried to make popcorn, burn it, and it was like caramel popcorn that was burnt. So the whole room smelled so bad.
And you're forever relating that to it.
Yeah. So now, like, I have like some kind of like brain tumor of a memory of Citizen Kane. So whenever I hear someone talk about it, I'll start smelling things.
I can't eat pizza rolls because I work so long at the gas station.
Does Jody still listen to this?
I don't. You know, we're gonna find out.
Because he used to.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not going to say a word to him about it. I'm just going to see if he messages me and be like, fuck you, man. Citizen Kane's great.
Well, he'll tell me first. I work with him every day.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate that fucking movie.
He is going to send a message out.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie of all time.
I won't put you on the spot. Give me two. Give me two.
Shawshank Redemption.
I knew that.
A Few Good Men.
Okay.
I've watched.
I fuck with that.
I will say I love A Few Good Men as many times as I can.
Favorite horror flick?
Favorite horror flick? Does Tremors count?
Kind of.
No.
Maybe.
So first Saw was shock value for me.
Dude, that evening, like when I worked at the video store, if you remember, it didn't have a big theatrical push.
Yeah, it didn't. No, it
didn't. So nobody knew anything about it before.
The new ones are much more popular than the original ones.
I remember going and catching the second one at, I think, the Regal in Lexington. But the first one almost pretty much felt like a straight to DVD type scenario. It wasn't, but it felt like it
was. Yeah,
not many people went and watched that.
We didn't see it in theaters.
So when people would come in the video store, which I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal because they didn't make a whole lot of money. I was like, I bet my whole paycheck you cannot peg who the killer is in this movie.
Oh, never.
And they're like, I bet, bitch. And I'm like, you got to tell me the truth when you come back.
Yeah.
They come back and they're like, dude, your paycheck's safe. Nobody saw that.
I don't even think halfway through the movie I didn't realize that was what's his name from Princess Bride?
Oh, Carrie Ells.
Carrie Ells. Yeah, I didn't realize it was Carrie Ells the whole time.
God, I love that movie.
Yeah, that's solid.
So good. So
that's probably my favorite. Like I love that. I like OG slasher films. I love original slasher films. Like I could watch the original 2 or 3 Friday the 13th over and over.
I'm a huge Scream fan.
Yeah, I know that.
Scream's up there for me, but also equal right there with it is the Thing.
Oh yeah,
Like,
love that shit. That's my brother's favorite.
So those two are probably my two favorite, but not my favorite movies. And if I had to pick two, and they're kind of both fall in under the same genre as The Godfather and The Departed. The Departed's like goated.
I feels like this is part of last week's episode.
We actually ain't talked about this at all.
I know it feels like
But it does feel like it.
Feels like I know. So it's funny that I actually know that about you. Like The Departed for you is like, man.
Back when you could code MySpace.
The Departed was fucking
I had
awesome.
a Departed MySpace theme. And it was fucking epic. We was playing Shipping Up to Boston by the Dropkick Murphys, like the whole nine. It was phenomenal.
I'd love to have an Unpaid Lunch MySpace page.
Oh my god! Yeah, I actually tried to log into MySpace the other day.
It's a website. Is it? You can like it's live.
It's music now.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
That's
a
interesting.
very like third-rate music website now.
that's kind of interesting. If they did that, I guess you adapt or die, right?
Yeah, I kind of miss Tom. Is that what his name was?
Yeah.
The dude that was automatically on your top or your friends? Yeah, he was my goat. I don't know. Speaking of movies, before we transition to any type of topic, one of my really good friends from a long time back, I don't get to spend a whole lot of time with him anymore, but he used to make a lot of short films and stuff like that. And he actually his name's Tyler Payne. He actually worked with us at GameStop for a little bit. He actually worked a little bit after I left GameStop. He came into the fold, but he used to be one of my frequent offenders, I would say, that came into the store all the time. He always had a mohawk, almost like Liberty Spikes.
Yeah.
It was epic. Usually like
Yeah, I think I do know him.
He would come in all the time. Huge Metal Gear fan back in the day, so me and him was able to really kind of, sit on the same plane with that. But I'm super envious of him because, like you said, I used to be like, I wanted to go to like Full Sail and all this stuff and try to go and become a director or producer or whatnot. This dude did it.
Oh, shit.
Like
Cool.
he went and got like a degree. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he was working, if he still isn't, was working for Epic Games there for a while.
Oh, it's awesome. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember you telling me that before.
So he actually went out and made his
Living
own
the dream.
film.
Dream job shit.
Dude, I'm so excited for this. He went and made his own horror slasher flick. It's
Yeah.
really psychedelic. He's got his own TikTok page. Anybody that's listening, Psycho Silico is the name on TikTok. And it's kind of stealing, kind of the way they said it on another podcast where I watched a brief review of his movie, but it's really the best way to kind of put it. He's got some weird ass like ASMR vibes, like on some
cool.
stuff. He's got his own characters and stuff that he's built out. The whole entire thing is just phenomenal. It's really creepy. Like me and my wife was going to go watch it, and she's like, "I don't think I can do this."
Oh, because it's too intense, like real.
She's like, "I'm afraid that I'm just."
You need to take Mikey Burke.
I bet you Mikey's probably on that list.
Mikey's probably there, yeah.
So he actually done like his like a $30 package. He's going to do a showing in downtown Norton, in that little tiny theater down
Yeah.
there. So it's like $30. You got a shirt. You got VIP tickets for the show. He's going to do.
What was that this weekend?
It's September 29th is when he's doing it. Going to do the show. Going to do an intro and everything into the show the movie. VIP tickets, $30. The way he had it set up.
Can we get him on the podcast?
I would love to get him on here. I'll check with him at some point.
Yeah. I'd love to get him on and we can talk about that. So
I would love to.
Get some people to go.
I already got my VIP ticket. He's sold out now, though, is the thing, but he's still got, I think, another 60 seats that he's doing admission for, but not charging. You can basically donate whatever you want.
Oh, sure.
Selling merch and stuff
That's
like
cool.
that. He's going to do an intro into it. Throwback to one of our previous episodes. There's going to be some elevated chicken there.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
There's going to be some elevated chicken. I might actually get to eat some of this elevated chicken this time. I'm kind of hoping.
You can order it before you go.
It's part of the package.
Oh, shit.
So for that VIP package, you get some elevated chicken, you get the feature-length film, and then afterwards, he's doing a Q&A in character.
Oh, cool.
So I'm super
That's
pumped
awesome.
about
A Q&A in character is intense.
In character. So I'm pretty pumped about the whole entire thing. So I just wanted to throw it out there since we were on a quick film kick.
Yeah, I don't wish
T-Pain.
I wish we'd get him on, promote the show and get some people, I mean, I know he's sold out now, but bring attention to it anyway.
Listen, he hit a couple, I think
'Cause
at
that's very
least
cool.
one film festival, and they gave him best score.
Well, I'm sure if it was great, then he'd do another showing. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Well, he's from what I gather, he's going to hit the festival scene as many as he can.
that'd be awesome.
But he gave like a 10-minute, like a quick cut of the movie to a horror podcast, and they basically said it gave him OG Terrifier vibes.
That's
like the
fucking
original.
awesome. Yeah, that'd
So
be
I'm
killer.
pumped about it. I'm pumped.
That's one that just took off too, right? The Terrifier.
Yeah.
That shit just took off.
Have you seen either one of them?
I watched the first one accidentally with my dad and my niece because she was like, I want to watch this horror movie, and he's like, whatever, watch it. And I was sitting on the couch like he like strings that girl up upside down or whatever, and I was like, I don't feel like we should be watching this with her.
See, the kills are kind of over the top on Terrifier. I love art.
Yeah,
I love the character, but also I love the practical effects of it. Like it's not CG.
It's
like
not CG
stuff
shit.
that
Yeah,
they
yeah,
put
yeah.
into it, and
Well,
it's
that's what's so
freaking
good about it, right?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it's not.
And I
That's
think
what
that's the
everybody.
way that Tyler's went is practical
Yeah.
effects. I don't know that for a fact yet. I'm just knowing
Which is
him,
cool
I
in
kinda
the
feel
world
like
of
the way he went.
which is cool in the world of AI.
Oh yeah,
And how easy it is to.
See, he used to do these short films that really had like Reservoir Dogs type
Oh,
vibe
cool.
about them. I really loved it. So
Well, I'm for anybody doing shit
I
they
would love
want
to
to do.
have on. I know we're all the time we're talking about shitty jobs and how bad we hate them, but I also like to glorify people that rose above that and found.
Well, sure, that's what we're about, right? It's cool that quit your fucking day job because that shit is draining your life, and do what you actually want to do if you want to make fucking movies.
This
and,
dude's wearing his own merchandise T-shirts,
Yeah.
going out hanging
That's
out
fucking- that's the
posters 'cause
dream,
he's
though.
Super proud of his
That's
shit,
awesome.
man. I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's killer.
So before we really get into anything, we kind of had a brief poll here around the studio.
My wife
Yeah,
is around the
We asked
studio.
his wife
We
and
asked
Key.
we asked my wife and Key is in the production booth as always.
but we're all pretty uniform on this, so I'm interested in hearing other people's takes. So please hit us up on the socials.
You can
At
send
Unpaid
messages
Lunch.
on Instagram. I'm more than happy to reply to messages on Instagram.
Most of y'all know who we
want to.
are.
I'm
Shoot us
bored.
a fucking message on Facebook. I know we don't have a Facebook for the channel, but
You
you
gotta
know
fill it.
who we are.
Messenger.
So the question is quick poll this week, unpaid poll, hashtag unpaid poll. What is the best 3-day weekend? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
Well, everybody here agreed that it's Saturday, Sunday,
It's
Monday.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, in my opinion.
But what did I say?
What did you say?
I said Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and call in Friday.
And call him Friday. I mean, that's
So,
perfect.
that's-
Obviously it fits our brand,
You,
but
you get a start on
if
your
that's
weekend.
not possible,
Well,
you
it's
do
why
Saturday,
there's
Sunday, Monday.
it's why there's banking holidays on Mondays, right?
Yeah.
It's because Monday's just better.
Like
we got
Labor Day, Memorial Day. They're Mondays.
yeah, we have what Labor Day coming up, Memorial Day, Labor Day.
I
What is-
get them two mixed
Which
up.
one's
I
coming
don't
up?
know which one's which.
Labor Day's coming up,
Labor Day.
and I'm off on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Sundays. So I'm off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
That's a 5-dayer.
Yeah, it's hot.
That's great. So, I mean, I guess our argument for this, and obviously if anyone wants to blow us up and say otherwise, if you're taking off Friday, you start the week on Monday, which is already shitty. Monday is stereotypically the worst day of the week if you work a stereotypical Monday to Friday, 9 to 5.
My favorite jobs I've ever had and my favorite schedules I've ever had is I don't work Mondays.
Yeah, they're awful. The best. It's always awful. Like my team does escalation work. So if someone's literally like trying to get their shit to work all weekend long and can't, I get blown up on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Emails, bro. Monday morning, you got to answer so many fucking emails. And you know what? It's not the same on Tuesday. If I come in on Tuesday and I have to answer Saturday, Sunday, and Monday's emails, that's fine. If you
come in on Tuesday, the Monday emails where the world's on fire have probably already been
resolved.
Yeah. Someone else.
So everything I'm reading on my emails, that shit's already been resolved.
It's already been taken care of.
It's fine.
So there's that. All right. So we're on the same page there. Tuesdays are so much better when you're off on Monday. They're so much worse when you actually worked Monday already. Wednesdays and Thursdays, they're eh. But the problem with Wednesdays and Thursdays is you're looking forward to Friday and they drag ass.
Yeah.
Because you're hoping for that Friday off.
I work in an evening shift on Thursday and it feels like it takes an eternity to get to Friday.
It's miserable. But the counter effect, you're off on Monday. So you come in Tuesday, all your fires have already been put out.
Yeah.
So you're just playing catch up. Wednesday now feels like really your Tuesday.
Yeah.
Thursday feels like your Wednesday. And you're like,
perfect.
God, I'm never going to get to Friday. But Friday's actually your Thursday and you're done.
And everything's over.
And it's done.
That's wonderful too. I feel like we should just take off. So, schools are looking at doing like 4-day schools.
Then please do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, I know. It'd be great. But they're going to end up being off Fridays. That's what they're going to do.
Why though? Why?
I don't know. That's what they're going to end up doing because kids love to take off Fridays because kids don't understand.
But you know what ends up happening is our kids are getting at that age anymore where you're still going to have that damn Friday night football game.
Yeah, Friday.
You're still going to be doing shit on Friday.
Monday is practice, right? So just let them take off Monday so they can only have practice. Yeah.
Fine with that.
But they're going to be there. Yeah, I feel like I got that coming up that I'm off those days. I know I read a thing one time that was talking about you can take, like it showed you like the days to take your PTO. And this was if you work
how to maximize
Monday through Friday. Yeah, how to maximize your PTO. And it was like if you use 16 hours or work 10-hour shifts, and it's like if you use 20 hours in this week, you can have off 7 days in a row. And it was like if you use 40 hours, if you use your 40-hour vacation on these days, it was like you can have off 16 days in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. And it was like, yeah, that's wonderful.
The problem is people's figuring that out. Like you just brought that up. Me and you both know about it. Keisha's nodding her head. Yeah. So it's becoming a known thing. So now you got to fight with other fuckers for those vacation
Everybody else
slots.
is putting those fucking in.
So you got to put it in well in advance.
I don't have to worry about it. I work evening shifts and shit. I don't that doesn't affect me. I work Saturdays. That's the thing about weekends is it's like I don't get 3-day weekends because I fucking work Saturdays. I work every Saturday.
If anybody hears jingle jangling, this is me playing with some merch over here in the studio. I'm just throwing this out there in case you hear it. But Key got some badass branded cups.
We'll post a picture of them on Instagram.
We got to. These things are awesome.
Yeah, they're tumblers.
Admiring. I don't care if it clings and clangs.
Unpaid lunch tumblers they're pretty awesome.
I'm stealing one of these. I'm taking it to work.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use it as a walking marketing billboard.
Key shows up with the greatest unpaid lunch merch. She always shows up with stuff and got the coolest shit.
She is the number one fan.
Yeah. Still don't know how to use a mic.
No, she don't.
It's not even on.
She doesn't know how to. She acts like she's going to, but she don't know what.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. Yeah, everybody needs to answer that. I really like to get some feedback on it. If everybody like, if you think Friday is a better day, why is Friday a better day?
I would like to know that. Like, obviously, like
the only thing I could see though. So, Office Space, right? Let's go to that movie. If you take off Fridays, like, you don't have to deal with the shit asking you to do. Like, if you work a job that you're required to do some stuff on the weekend, you know what I mean? Or you could ask to come in on the weekend.
Yeah, there's that.
Avoiding your boss on Friday.
I'd
also just like to bring up something else in that movie. So, we've talked about this
like
before.
It's our Bible.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, how it kind of inspired I watched Office Space for like 2 weeks straight and I almost quit my job because of it. And it really kind of inspired the podcast in the first place was Office Space. And And it's interesting how that show is like the satirical standpoint of it. Like he quits, but then he finds out he's like, oh, actually, I gotta fucking work somewhere. I gotta do something, right? And he's fucking, but he quits because he's miserable at what he's doing, and that's where we're at with it. But man, I have found that my greatest motivation for doing my work is to have less meetings.
Oh yeah.
That's my greatest motivation, man. I just want to be left alone, and I can't. And we had like some changes around, and got new, introduced into some new management and new management style, and more hands on, and
Micromanaging is what you mean.
it doesn't get there yet because I really I like my boss. You know what I mean? Like I really enjoy it, but it's like I feel like sometimes I do better at jobs.
Style, or did they go through some type of managerial training where they were trying to usher in a new movement at your workplace?
Oh no, my boss quit.
Fuck, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my boss moved to a different state. Yeah,
Hey,
she bailed.
kudos.
Yeah, she bailed, and she
Nobody was stopping her from quitting her job.
I'm telling you, they wasn't. She sat beside me at work, so like if there was something going on, she'd like, hey,
heads up.
Heads up.
Come down.
Yeah. And now it's like I have to have a meeting with somebody, and that's 200 miles away every time.
200 miles away. Like
I don't fucking know. I don't know. It's in ours is in 2 different parts of the state.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But yeah, it's just that's my motivation now. Is if I get in trouble, I have to have a bunch of meetings. And
You're talking about meetings like the other day. I'm going to keep just spamming Lucretia with the ads here during this session. But
she's mentioned the most of anybody who's not been on the podcast.
Exactly. She needs to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
But she brought it up one day. She's like, hey, there's this training that I got to put you in. So now that we went through this corporate buyout, et cetera, they're wanting to get everybody level set on the same playing field for how we want to coach and manage our agents. Manage. I don't like that word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I was like,
you don't like the word manage?
Like, when I said it, it makes me think of Wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm coming back to movies again. It's like they used to manage accounts, and it's like they don't like that term. I don't know why. Just that movie set me off right there. I was like, okay, cool. I don't care to do some leadership training. Fine. We do it about like once a year. I was like, what's this look like? She's like, it's 4 hours a day,
Jesus.
5 days a week for 3 weeks.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, no, it's not. She's like 11 to 3, Monday through Friday for 3 weeks. It's 60 hours. I finished 1 week and I want to die. So that's worse than the
So you like work your normal shift? Like you were doing your normal shit in the morning until 11, and then you're doing that training until... Fuck that. That is awful.
But the problem is now I feel so unmotivated to do anything until 11. Like, because I know I'm going to get in here and I'm just going to go. It's like you go into this training and the top bullet point in this Adobe workroom is make sure you are in a uninterrupted environment.
Oh, yeah.
I managed 25 people with no other coaches in my department.
That was not written for call center workers.
No.
You can't possibly do that.
Like literally on Friday, I left the training on Friday. Like my whole entire world was burning down. I'm like, guys, this ain't going to work.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like you need to. Like, what could it be? What do you do? Like,
dude,
is it relevant?
It's like, okay. So, and the guy's voice, I love this guy. I think he's a fantastic trainer, but he is like the most mellow.
Oh no.
No, what's the best way to say this without being disrespectful? Because I really like the guy.
I want to give him to describe this girl without being disrespectful.
He is like a calm, somber, great value Matthew McConaughey.
Okay,
that's what his voice sounds
like he's selling you a Mercury and not a Lincoln.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. So guys, I'm like waiting on him to do like the chest pounding thing from Wolf of Wall Street. It's not happened yet. I'm kind of hoping it does, but it's just. That's my thing. Is the only thing worse than a meeting is training.
Yeah,
but when it's training for 60 hours over 3 weeks, fuck my life.
Hey, we can have my former boss on. She was a trainer.
No, I don't even want to talk about training anymore after this. So it's literally like the topics that's coming
up. No, I'm off training.
Okay, guys. So we're going to be talking about change management. Okay. There's a big, huge change about to come down through the corporate structure, and you got to communicate to your agents. No, it's the same shit I've been doing for 10 years.
Is that fucking new?
No. It's like, all right, next topic. How do you build a relationship with your agents?
Oh, my gosh.
By not fucking micromanaging them and trusting them to do their job. And if they don't, I come down like a sledgehammer. That's how I do it. I mean, and I don't even like doing that. I don't know when the last time I was sledgehammer riding. That sounds mildly sexual, but you know what I mean. Like, I've not had to come down on
you aggressive is hot, I think. You as an aggressive boss is hot.
I'm not aggressive.
No, I've seen you. Well, it's because you don't usually have to be, right?
No, but when I do,
your people,
I get pissy.
Your people follow you into battle.
Well,
they like you.
I kind of like to think that.
Never let me work for you. Why not?
I don't know, but I think this is a good segue into our next topic.
That's where I was doing.
I like it.
That was solid podcasting.
Woo!
How many people were cheering just now?
No, nobody. Just
us.
us.
Anybody?
Just us.
This episode's brought to you by us. That's right. Unpaid Lunch is sponsoring its own episode. Have a good quitting story? Been fired in a hilarious way? Just need something to listen to while you cry in your car before work? Then boy, are you in the right place. Send us your emails and messages letting us know about why you hate work, and maybe we'll get to read it on an episode. If you love us or even really like us, go support us by checking out our Patreon page. And any donation or sub helps us to keep the show going and is appreciated more than you know. You guys are the reason we do this, and we want to keep doing it for a long time. You can find all the links in the episode below. Now back to the show. Welcome back in, Unpaid Lunch listeners. We left off trying to figure out why Ryan hasn't hired me anywhere he's worked. It's actually not been that common
It's not been that common.
It was like, I don't know if I even ever tried to get on your team at Sykes. We talked about it, but I think I left before then.
There's that, and at one point in time, you did have an interview at GameStop.
I did have, but we've been over that shit.
Yeah,
that bullshit.
Yeah,
that wasn't anything. But we had an interesting thing that we were talking about was how you can explain it better than I can.
So really, it kind of comes down, and I kind of already used this canned response earlier in the episode, but I have in the past been labeled as a corporate kiss ass. My first promotion I ever got within the call center world, I was told that the only reason that I got my position is because I was playing ping pong with the site director.
Man, I don't get that vibe from you though. Like, I don't get the vibe from you that it's that you get where you're from, or you get where you're at from that.
So it does give off that view though, and it's easy for people to like take that and run with it. So, like, for instance, perfect example is my wife, right? My wife worked at a local grocery store for at least a year and a half longer than I did, slaving as a front end, cashier. Yeah. I come into the role, I get hired on. I am literally there for a week and a half, and they're like, you want this cash office job where you can come here and just count money and not wait on customers? And she hated me for it. She's like, what the fuck? This guy's been here a week and a half, and we've been slaving for a year and a half, 2 years, and he just walks straight.
Yeah, but she's an introvert. Yeah.
She's an introvert.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're getting into here now. So you have, obviously, everyone knows you have your introverts and your extroverts. Those that are incredibly willing to go out and just be all peppy all the time, have conversations with everybody. People are attracted around them, things like that. Then you have introverts. It's like, don't fucking talk to me. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
Just don't. Like, we were talking about this earlier, actually, with my sister-in-law. She just recently went off to university. And we were talking about what it's like living, dorm life and stuff like that. And she's like, my RA is a little bit weird. I'm like, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why they became an RA. They're like, most of your RAs are, at least in my personal experience from my university life, they didn't want to room with anybody ever again.
That's 100%.
So I'm going to go ahead and put my name out here so I can get my own room. And most of the time when you go to your RA and you want something, they will do whatever you need them to do just so they don't have to talk to you.
To get you the fuck out.
Just please fucking go away.
Because they're complete introverts.
I mean, it just happens that way. But then there's also like extremes of both sides of it. So like I've been labeled corporate kiss ass before. But I'm a firm believer. I am very, very, very good at one skill. Like if I go to any job, I probably don't have half the product knowledge that someone else does. may not have all the workflows, but I'm a firm believer that workplace networking is not a lost art.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think.
Not even so much in the workplace, just networking in general.
Yeah.
Building relationships is important.
How many jobs knowing people matters so much.
Yeah.
Going places.
Absolutely. Building connections, getting opportunities to do certain things like that. Really kind of put yourself out there. So when something does come available, they're like, hey, I remember talking to this person about that. They'd be perfect. You know how many times I've been called and they're like, dude, you'd be perfect for this.
Yeah.
It's like, you were talking about this here recently when they were, one of our local high school teams, they were talking about needing a new voice of the football team to do, live broadcasting on Friday nights and stuff like that. And mine and your names got thrown into it. I think it's partly because of the podcast, but also because we're loud, abrasive, talky people.
Definitely extroverts, definitely know the sport, don't care to just talk all the time.
It's not even so much like, you need to know the sport, but being able to, dead air is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's that much worse when you're in person with people because that becomes uncomfortable.
Yeah. And that situation.
Uncomfortable silence is just weird.
I guess it's funny because the industry we're in, you get surprisingly, even though it's phone calls, and you're talking all the time, you get a lot of introverts. Our job, our industry hires a lot of introverts.
A lot of it's generational gapping too.
Yeah. Well, sure. But I guess that's an introverting kind of, a lot of it is anyway.
Yes and no. So with the generational gapping part, especially for a call center, who do you typically see have the best conversations? Someone that's younger in their early 20s or someone that's 45, 50, 55 years old?
Well, 40, older people, yeah.
Because they've had to have conversations with people to get where they need to go in life.
You think that's part of why we can communicate is because
I think that's why we're well-rounded.
Yeah.
Because we're coming out of that generation, our age group, I would say probably...
Well, we grew up without phones.
35 to 45. 35 to 40.
We didn't get phones till we were in our teens. There wasn't internet.
We didn't have cell phones.
We didn't have internet till we were in our teens.
But if you wanted to talk to somebody, you had to get on a phone and turn it into a three-way conversation, which inevitably turned into a 12-way conversation.
We sound super old right now.
We do sound super old, but there's benefit in it. There really is. And now I sound like a fucking boomer, but the newer generations coming in, they're much more tech savvy.
Uh-huh.
I can bring someone in and teach them the product if they're 20 years old in 10 seconds flat, but they ain't gonna be able to talk to anybody. They're gonna have to learn that part of it.
They'd rather text you than talk to you.
You bring in good old Granny Joyce in from nowhere, and she's gonna have the best conversations in the world. But she's like, "How do I turn on this computer pad?" And they're always going to have tech issues.
Light it up, get great surveys from customers.
Oh, yeah. But like I said, there's a generational gap in the middle there that's good on both sides.
Well, and there's levels of that, right? In jobs, there's levels of introverts, right? So you can be an introvert and be successful at the job because you're an introvert, right? There's plenty of people that are up high that are introverts because they're so good at their job from being introverts.
Yep. Because it helps them micromanage.
Right.
It's not so much micromanaging, more as it helps them develop a home skill and delegation.
But then you can be too introverted.
Oh, yeah.
And not get promoted at all because nobody knows you exist.
So there's the two extremes. And this is where we come back to the segue, right? I feel like what's always helped me in my professional positioning and be able to do what I need to potentially, I feel like I interview well for one, but I'm extroverted to the point where we used to take all these strength assessments and stuff like that, and mine always came up woo, which is basically win others over.
Woo. Yeah.
And one of my old bosses, it kind of comes back to the delegation part. We call him a robot, an android all the time. Man has no emotion. One of the best managers I've ever seen in my life, but he's the god and king of all things delegation.
Yeah.
So that's why he done all these strength assessments to figure out exactly who he needed and what specific roles to fill out what he called basically his Avengers.
That makes sense.
So he would build out his Avengers team, and then once we were set, he didn't have to touch us. We just went and rocked out and decimated all.
That's smart.
So that's where my extrovert part comes in and benefits me. Now, on yours, you're like, why did you never hire me? You are so extroverted to a point that yours becomes, instead of professional extroverting, yours breaches almost always over into the relationship side.
Yeah.
You become everybody's bro.
Yeah, so that's what's funny is some of the jobs that I've had, I end up being best friends with the managers. Mark was my manager at the call center at Jenkins, and me and him ended up being great friends, and he's like closer to my dad's age than mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he was like,
well, you told us that story about how he's like, listen, dude, this is how you're losing your job today.
yeah.
Like he just set you up perfectly.
Well,
like
and I seen him outside, and that goes back to like knowing people, right? And networking, right? And when I do that, because I ended up getting a job with him when they were running, you know, the online, the e-commerce stuff. I just seen him in a fucking parking lot, and he was like, we got this going. Could use you on our team.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, man, I will see you tomorrow.
See, that helps. But here again comes the problem is when you start trying to climb, you know, the corporate ladder, and you're best friends with all the bosses, they're like, all right, if I promote him up, now all of a sudden I'm in charge of him. And we're really, really, really close. If something happens and I have to cut bait, does it ruin our friendship?
That's why, like, I have a tendency. It's
hard to build friendships.
That's
like
why
that
working under you would be tough. And I only say that because I have a tendency to be a little insubordinate if the situation calls for it. You know what I mean? Like if something is not, even if it's not your fault, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like I was insubordinate with my previous boss a little bit in meetings because I think the situation I think the situation called for me.
It's because you're vocal.
It is.
You're vocal.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that you're negative.
Yeah.
But you can take a negative situation and really use it as a platform. Yeah. Really scream to the heavens about it. You're not negative. But all of a sudden, it's like I turned on a freaking fly buzz catcher outside for
100%.
everyone that is.
Yeah.
And everyone feeds off
and
of
I
that.
realize that. And I catch myself all the time. Like, I'll be like, we'll be at the end of a meeting. This job and previous jobs and all jobs. We'll be at the end of a meeting and they, well, anybody got anything else? Anything going up? And I'll just sit there for a second thinking, I wonder if anybody's going to say anything. Like, and I know I can look around and be like, none of these people are going to say anything. All right, fuck, I'll just say it.
Yep.
And it's like, and I say something, and then like two other people are like, "Hey, yo, he's right."
Yeah.
Which is fucking
because they're introverts.
Yeah, because they're introverts.
See,
and
that's how the whole dynamic works.
I think that just makes me a leader.
I'm leader of fucking chaos.
Whatever.
But it's that wild card effect, like the one position that I had that one point in time that you interviewed in is a position that it's basically considered what we would call next level help. It's probably the single most important position in the entire work environment, but probably also at the same time, they're probably most disrespected, unhallowed. Like no one gives a shit about these people. They're usually an afterthought. And I'll say it because I managed them. I was one.
Yeah.
They're the freaking heart of a freaking call center, but they're quick to be forgotten. If something breaks, it's their fault. If something great happens, they don't get glorified for it.
Yeah, that shit happens.
So someone like what you just explained as your tendency, when it's already a negative, convoluted environment, it's napalm.
Yeah, and I know that. And I guess that's why, like, at the jobs that I've been most successful at is like jobs that kind of require you to be like that. You know what I mean? Because
you'd be really good in sales.
Yeah, because there's jobs. Yeah, except for the problem is, let me tell you what my problem is with sales. I actually don't care if you want it. That's my problem with sales. Yep. Is I'm like, I care so little about whether you, which is funny because maybe it's just because it comes back to like doing something you love. Because doing this podcast, I care so much about what people, how people feel about the episodes and stuff. So like, it's funny that like I don't care that much and that being said, I'm usually like my surveys are usually good. My customer reviews are almost always because I'm an extrovert and I just talk to people.
Well, see, that's the biggest thing. Like there's value to both sides of it, right?
People are confused. People are confused too about like how I can just talk to people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like on the phone, like I just fucking.
My wife, if we go to the grocery store, she's like, sometimes I don't even want to take you because what should be a 20-minute grocery store.
Our wives hate us in public.
It turns into
And
an
we
hour.
have prominent fathers, right? We
Yeah.
have fathers that were known in the, you know, at their
community.
height, known in the community, and everybody knew them. And so, like, they know us, and we coach sports and, like, know our kids. And
Yep.
yeah, don't take us anywhere.
We're very sociable people, so
can't go
you
in
get us
public.
out in public. We're just going to talk. If you take me over to the Walmart in Virginia, the Walmart guy sounded 90 right there. If you take me over
Me
to
the
Walmart,
It's
in
got a
Virginia,
hyphen in it instead of a star.
you got to remember, like my workplace at the height when we're at max capacity probably holds what 800 people, probably
More,
yeah,
probably.
easily.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to go to Walmart and not see one of them.
Oh, fuck.
Like
You know how hard it is to work anywhere else?
Yeah.
I sit directly beside somebody I worked with at Sykes.
Oh,
Like,
really?
and I work in a row with people who are like,
Yeah, we're everywhere.
there's everybody there.
I don't know how we're still hiring people.
Bonnie,
That's probably how Zach's been hired.
work with
20 times.
Bonnie. Bonnie sits like a few seats behind me. Don Eubanks and Bonnie.
Bonnie is there?
Bonnie's there, yeah.
When did Bonnie start?
Bonnie's in sales. She's great.
Bonnie, I love you.
Bonnie's awesome.
I love her and Dawn.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I gave them like a foolproof idea the other day for how they could make millions. They were talking about how
We need to have Don on, right? He's a listener.
Don wants to be on.
Well, we need to
he's
have him
even
on.
said that. Like, I
Fuck
would
yeah.
love to have Don.
He's great,
at some
yeah.
point. God, I'm trying to remember exactly. It was we were basically just talking about Don like cleaning and using tools and stuff outside, if I remember correctly. She's like, I've told him all the time that he just needs to put on some like short shorts and go out there and start videotaping everything. I'm like, give him some Daisy Dukes, but call him Daisy Dons and call that the channel. And just
That's
have
hot.
him in that in his boots, cleaning like freaking a Blackstone.
That sells.
I'm like, just whenever you make your millions, just don't forget about me. Like I'm in your marketing division. I'm in your corner.
Let's come on the podcast and talk about it.
But listen, those
Make your
two.
millions.
See, I don't know how Bonnie would classify herself if she's an introvert or extrovert. I feel like she's kind of straddling the fence.
She is, I think, but she's I think she's kind of an introvert though. Like, I mean, she really like even at work is like kind of just wants to do her thing and go on. You know what I mean?
She's
but,
to that point now.
but she's also a great boss. Though.
Listen, I've said before and I've said it over again. I'm not just saying that because I don't know if she listens.
we just
I know Dawn
we just
listens.
freely talk about people on this podcast.
Listen,
We just talk. It's fine. We're gonna talk about you.
when she left, it broke my heart.
Yeah.
I've never worked for her, never worked under her, barely worked with her hand in hand. But just watching from afar, I've never respected someone more as a manager.
Yeah,
in my
she's
life.
awesome.
A woman had her shit in line.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Just watching her lead was phenomenal. Dawn is 100% an extrovert.
Oh yeah.
There's
man.
nothing introverted about Dawn.
Yeah, he's
Eubanks.
like us. Yeah.
I love Don. I think Don should be a politician at some point and just get into that. Listen, if you are a connoisseur of beef, that man can make some Chicago style Italian beef.
Oh, I'm all about Chicago beef.
So if
sounds
Don,
great.
if we bring you on, listen, our
I
guests
have
bring
all the
gifts.
stuff ready in the morning.
Our guests bring gifts. We expect Italian beef.
We'll have all the stuff ready to cook. All right, we'll record this episode and you make Italian beef.
In his Daisy Dons.
We'll hold the mic for him while he's cooking.
Oh God. Nah, I would love to have him on. We need to work that out.
We will. We'll work that out.
But
that makes sense though, right? Like in conclusion,
yes.
you can be too much of an extrovert, right?
Yep.
That it affects your job. And I'm aware that my job has been affected in the past by how loud I am and how vocal
There's multiple different levels of it.
how
like you just
vocal I am
said.
about things.
There's abrasive extrovert.
Yeah.
There is the extrovert that is really good at networking and kind of building relationships, aka those usually get corporate kiss ass or finding some way to quote unquote screw their way to top or whatever, however you want to say it.
I know her.
And then you just have the genuine extrovert that just likes people. But then on the other side of the coin, you have the introvert that just doesn't want to talk to anybody. They're just there to do their job.
Some of the best workers.
They will
at the
always
place,
be some of the
best workers ever. Introverts that have been introverts and not promoted in like 30 years, and they just work there and they're introverts. They do their job and they go home.
Yep. Then you have the fully shut down introvert that's sometimes just barely functioning. And then the introvert that needs a voice. And that's kind of what you were saying a minute ago. It's like, hey, you know, this is what I feel is going on. And all of a sudden they start piling on behind it. But then also, like I said, some of the best leaders, one of the best leaders I've ever had in my life is literally a robot.
Yeah.
I'm 100% positive he is not living.
Is that just riding the line or is that introvert or like
Oh,
robot?
he's fully introvert. Like one last
Especially 'cause he's
rambling
delegating.
spiel before we go to closure on this. Like, he literally pulled me into a room one time before and said, listen, your job today is to sit here and listen to me on this phone call. I was like, do what? He said, I'm going to be on a call with some people that I don't have great relationships or haven't built a relationship with before. I have no social awareness on what my tone sounds like. I want you to raise the right hand if I'm being dick and I need to change course. Left hand if I need to be a little bit more of a cupcake and throw some fluff in.
Love it.
I was like, that's literally my job today. He said, that is your job today. But that's also the reason I appreciate, that's probably, I will say this, it's Lucretia. You can't get mad when I say this because we both come from
We have a Lucretia count in this episode.
Yeah. She's going to get mad because she's my direct boss right now, and I love her dearly. But she's going to say this too because we both came from that same management tree.
Yeah.
Literally, that man has had more of an impact on me as a leader than anybody else because he said, this is what you're good at. Use it.
Yeah, he pointed you in the right direction.
Like, the man would send me halfway across the country and trust me to go in and have conversations with people I've never met. So that helped me exercise that talent.
It's good to have those people too.
And it's helped me in coaching, like in all these other things with kids and everything else.
That's enough fucking talking about work.
It is enough talking about it. You know what else helps a whole lot when you're extrovert? You can talk about your social media platforms.
Oh, yeah?
You can talk about them pretty well. So, for instance, at Unpaid Lunch for TikTok.
In Instagram, I'm gonna post a picture of those.
Why'd you have to? I'm talking here, motherfucker.
I'm just gonna post. I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna post a picture of those.
I'm talking here. This is my moment, and you're killing me.
I quit.
Now. You're see. You and Andy just go quit. I had fun last week with the intro by myself, anyway.
Do it. I'm gonna be quiet.
No, seriously, like just fucking around, but. He's going to put these on Instagram. These cups are awesome. I would love at some point to be able to find a way to make these available to the public. But definitely check out Instagram, TikTok. Follow us on any of your social media platforms, but other than the Meta whorehouse.
Somebody's going to make us do that.
I don't want to go to Facebook.
Okay.
I don't want to do it.
Deal.
But also on your favorite podcast delivery devices, definitely check us out. Google Podcasts. Anything pretty much you can carry, we've got it on the platform to be able to ship out to that. Anything you got?
No, I just, might not be employed next week. I might not get this job in this interview. It's fine. Quit.
Exercise your extrovert.
No, that's good. Hey guys, remember that nobody's stopping you from quitting your job, but you.
Shout out to that boss that quit. Love it.
She quit a while ago too.
Yeah.
It's nice.
First time I heard about it.